if he continues to play like this, I mean, he could be the starting choice or one of the starting choice fullbacks for Thomas Tuchel and for England for a decade, easy. Yeah. Been a busy week or so of World Cup qualifiers, of course, all around the world. Here are the teams that have already secured their spot for the big show next summer, apart from the hosts, USA, Mexico and Canada at the top there. Iran and Japan have qualified. Argentina as well. We spoke about them and their big win over Brazil earlier on today. And New Zealand qualifying too, and plenty more names will be joining them over the next coming months as qualifying continues. So we thought we'd pick out our winners and losers from this international break. We'll start with the positive and the winners. Who have you gone for?
So I'm going for Argentina. I think that humiliation from Brazil is a real statement victory for Argentina, and the way that they did it, emphatic fashion. Obviously qualifying for World Cup is the bonus. That's why they're a winner for me. But that type of a performance without being at their very best really stood out. I thought the goal scorers all played a big role. Enzo Fernandez stood out as a top-class performance. Julian Alvarez, I thought, was outstanding. Once again, he's doing the same for Atleti. I think Scaloni's onto something really special with this group of players. And without Lionel Messi there, we're sort of having a glimpse of how the future's going to look for this Argentina, and I don't think there's many Argentinian fans out there worried at this moment in time. So that's my first winner, Adam.
My first winner, I've gone for Myles Lewis-Skelly. I think if you'd offered him prior to this season starting that he would be so good for Arsenal, the first choice left back in the second best side in the Premier League, and also playing so well for his England debut. Remember, this guy hasn't even played in the under-21 team. He was straight into the national side. Performed brilliantly. I know it was only Albania and Latvia, who are they, but he was brilliant. Got a goal in that first game. Looks so confident. What I love about him is he's just his confidence. Yeah. He looks like he's 25. Brilliant performance, and I said it on the show after the game, I think against Latvia. If he continues to play like this, I mean, he could be the starting choice or one of the starting choice fullbacks for Thomas Tuchel and for England for a decade, easy.
Yeah, future's looking very bright for him. And I'd just like to clarify to my Albanian barber Eli that I didn't say that. That was Adam Hunt who said that one right there.
Gotta love the Albanians.
Take care of the mullet for me. The second winner for me is Raúl Jiménez. I think obviously I find it very difficult to give Mexico any type of credit because obviously being a former US captain of the youth national teams, can't stand Mexico national team, and at the same time they've got a superstar, and he's someone who's getting up there in age in Raúl Jiménez, but he's just brilliant. And what he did do is he scored all 4 goals in the semi-final and the final, obviously, to clinch a trophy. It's really special to see him back after his serious injury. That head injury was brutal for him, but the classy goals that led Mexico to success. I mean, he's been great for Fulham as well, 10 goals in the Prem so far this season. It's wonderful to see him back, first and foremost, and obviously hearing him on our coverage on site after the final was pretty special as well, because he seems like a very down-to-earth character and someone who I think if you can get him performing very well indeed, Mexico might be a little bit of a threat for most teams when it comes to 2026. Not many nations out there are going to want to have them in their group, that's for sure.
I can echo that as well. He's a lovely guy. I covered him quite a lot when he was playing for Fulham earlier on in his career there, and he's brilliant. We've got plenty of time for the media. People are going to start thinking I'm an Arsenal fan because all I'm doing is naming Arsenal players here. Martin Ødegaard, he was brilliant for Norway. 3 assists in their performance in the last game, combining really well with Erling Haaland. It'd be great to see Norway back at a World Cup, given some of the stars that they've got at their disposal. It would be a shame for Erling Haaland and Martin Ødegaard not to be able to compete in the finals next summer. It looks like they're going to get there, and a lot of it is because of his performances for his nation. Now, we've done the winners. What about the losers? Who have you gone for first?
Well, this one's controversial because they didn't actually lose during the international break, but I still think South Korea deserves some sort of criticism for their 2 poor results during this international break. Now, I know they're top of the table in the AFC Championship when it comes to qualifying, but the 2 draws against Oman and Jordan caught my attention because they went with 2 very strong lineups, and I went through the statistics just to basically back me up. They had 23 shots over both games. They had only 6 of them on target and obviously scored only 2 goals. So I don't care if they're top of their qualifying group. They are obviously undefeated, but 3 draws in a row, I kind of expect a little bit better. Where you going?
I'm going to race through this one because we want to leave plenty of time to talk about the last loser. I've gone for Brazil. I mean, we discussed them in the first part of the show. Just simply not good enough. They've got plenty of stars at their disposal. I know they were missing Bruno Guimaraes, but apart from that, I know Neymar was out, of course, missing this entire international break. They've got so many great players on the pitch, but it simply was not good enough.
Are they great, though? That's the question.
No, but
not for
performing
me.
like this against a big rival like Argentina is simply not good enough for their fans and for those players. So they've got to get better.
Yeah.
Where have you gone for?
All right, so the last one obviously is controversial with Bayern Munich, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that one. So we better break that news.
We've got to explain how we got there, though, because of what happened during the international break. It's been a seriously difficult time, I suppose, for Bayern Munich. We saw what happened to Alphonso Davies in the game against Mexico, and this is what his agent has said in a statement. I'm very disappointed. Alphonso was not 100% after the Mexico game, and it was planned that he was not going to start against the USA. On Saturday night, the expectation was he would not be in the 11 as a captain. I feel he was pressurised to start the game by the coach. Now, Alphonso is not the kind of guy to say no in those moments. He ended up playing, and look what happened. Of course, he got injured. Canada Soccer needs to do a better job managing these players. In my opinion, Alphonso is down and obviously really disappointed about this injury. Thankfully, he is in wonderful hands with a world-class group at Bayern who will take great care of him. He's expected to have the surgery within the next 24 hours. And then we got a statement from Canada as well, just responding to what had been said by Davies' agent there. We want to express all of our full support for our men's national team captain Alphonso Davies as he recovers from this unfortunate injury. Fonzie's strength and resilience matches his world-class talent, and we all look forward to fully supporting him during his recovery. Canada Soccer's coaches and experienced medical staff are true professionals and have always prioritised player safety and well-being. Anything suggesting otherwise is untrue.
Yeah.
Big impact for Bayern Munich, because Upamecano got a big injury as well. He's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Big knee injury as well for Upamecano, so he's out for a period of time. Alphonso Davies with the ACL is a real disaster, and it's a bad news for football in general because we want to see Bayern Munich with their best players. So therefore, they're a loser to me because of these injuries. The situation with Alphonso Davies continues to get crazier and crazier. I mean, the statement from obviously his representatives, you have to be very careful how you handle situations like that because you're accusing someone of forcing your player to play when he wasn't 100% healthy. And to me, as an individual, Alphonso Davies is probably strong enough to be able to say no if he wasn't ready to go. But it's a big game for them against the USA. And of course, I'm sure Jesse Marsch wanted him to play, but I can't imagine Jesse's forcing the kid to play. I think you've got to be very careful accusing people. But Bayern Munich, at the end of the day, will be incredibly unhappy with this. They're getting an unhealthy player back, obviously, in Upamecano, but now they've got a seriously injured Alphonso Davies that you're going to have to do with and for the rest of the season without, which for the player itself, after signing a new contract, is a disaster, especially as they're trying to seal that Bundesliga title back from Leverkusen and try to make a run. Obviously, they've got Inter in the Champions League, but to the Champions League final once again. He's a huge loss for them. But this is not the end of the story. Mark my words. You don't see accusations like that we're seeing towards the Canadian Association and Jesse Marsch without some sort of repercussion. So there's more to come from that, that's for sure.
Also speaks to the power of agents these days, because we never have got that 20 years ago, an agent coming out and speaking about a player potentially not playing because they were injured. It's
not a fan of it though.
No,
for me, if it was my representative, I'd tell him to shut up. Mind your own business. That's why I don't have an agent. Because sometimes agents speak out of course. It's unacceptable for me.